Adventures in Serums, coming up next. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to some further adventures in middle aging. And as I mentioned in my intro, welcome to Adventures in Serums. If I had to choose one step in the skincare routine that is my favorite, it would be serums. Serums are magical, serums are wonderful, and they can also be really overwhelming. So I wanted to go ahead and put together a quick overview video and also include a few recommendations of serums that I personally have used for my particular skincare concerns, and one that I have not personally used, but a friend of mine has used and has very much enjoyed for a certain reason. So before we go any further, what is a serum? And as per usual, I'm going to have some research over here on my computer, so I will occasionally be referring to that. Just want to let you know if I'm looking off over here, that's what I'm doing. But basically, serums, and a lot of people get confused because serums and moisturizers, sometimes it seems like they overlap, or people think of them in the same way. But serums and moisturizers are actually pretty different. The biggest difference between serums and moisturizers is that serums leave out moisturizing ingredients such as petrolatum or petroleum type products or mineral oil. Moisturizers are really meant to be somewhat occlusive. They are meant to lock things in, whereas a serum, it typically has a thinner consistency and is going to have more skin beneficial ingredients, and it's really meant to penetrate into the skin, not keep things out, not act like an occlusive as a moisturizer does. And I'll talk about that when I talk about moisturizers in another video. But it's really meant to deliver lots of skin beneficial ingredients. It's one of the reasons why serums tend to be the most expensive part of the skincare routine, because they just have so much stuff in them, or they can, depending on what kind you choose. But they are not going to have those moisturizing and occlusive ingredients that you have in a moisturizer. They're meant to be thinner, and they are meant to really penetrate into that skin. And the rule of thumb with how do you put skincare ingredients on is to start from the thinnest texture up to the thickest, which is typically why a moisturizer is the last one that you will put on, because it's typically going to have the thickest texture of all of the different things that you use, if you even use a moisturizer. So should you use serums and moisturizers? I will give you my point of view as a person with oily skin. I tend to choose serums over moisturizers. And a lot of that is just because as an oily skin person, I don't need that moisture the same way that a person with drier skin does. It's not that people with oily skin can't use moisturizers. There are plenty of moisturizers out there that are made for people with oily skin. They're made to be lighter and typically not as sort of heavier feeling, not as humectant, because we don't need all of the we don't need as much hydration, because we don't tend to be as dehydrated as dry skin, although you can have dehydrated skin as an oily skin person. But anyways, all that to say, I tend to default to a serum as opposed to a moisturizer, simply because I like serums for all of the skin beneficial ingredients they have. And especially at night, I want to use a lot of products that have as many good ingredients as possible, whether that be a lot of products or fewer products that have more beneficial ingredients, however that works out. So I tend to default to serums over moisturizers. That's a personal thing. If you are a drier skin person, then a moisturizer might be exactly what you need. It just depends on your personal preferences, what your skin needs. Of course, that can change during the year. It can change based on all sorts of things, your health conditions, what you are experiencing as far as your stress level, your eating habits. Like I said, the time of year, you may find that you don't need as heavy of a moisturizer or serum in the summer as opposed to winter, all that fun stuff. But basically, serums are kind of the superstar of most people's skincare routine because of those skin beneficial ingredients that they have. And in one of the articles that I found, which I will link down below from WebMD, they put it like this, that serums contain the most potent dose of anti-aging ingredients, like antioxidants, peptides, and brighteners. They're very concentrated. They're made of smaller molecules, so they are meant to penetrate quickly and penetrate deeply. So that is why serums are often a little more expensive than a moisturizer, because of the technology that goes into them and the ingredients that go into them. They have a lot of those skin, as I have mentioned ad nauseum through this video, skin beneficial ingredients. And I mentioned antioxidants, peptides, and brighteners. So you can choose a serum that is more single purpose, like a vitamin C serum that's meant to brighten. You can choose a that has hyaluronic acid, so it's meant to hydrate and plump up the skin. You can choose a serum that is specifically for an anti-aging purpose. So you can choose serums that are somewhat a little more single purpose, or especially if you are new to serums and you really just want something that is sort of what I would call an entry level or an all-purpose type of serum that is going to have a lot of beneficial ingredients that are going to help the vast majority of people. I have a one option in particular that I think is a really great entry level. It's not terribly expensive, and it just has a nice mix of ingredients. And of course you can find others as well that are out there that are going to have that. And I will try and find a few. But the ones that I'm going to be talking about specifically in this video are ones that I have personal experience with, and one that a friend of mine has personal experience with and has really enjoyed using. So I wanted to keep it to that rather than making this one big long like list of all these different serums, because you can get lost in the weeds with serums. So let's talk a little bit about the features of a serum. Besides the fact that it has smaller molecules, it's going to penetrate quickly and deeply, they are advanced and they are concentrated, and they're meant to address certain specific needs. Sometimes those needs are very broad, like just delivering lots of these great skin supporting ingredients, or like I mentioned, like a vitamin C or a hyaluronic acid serum or things like that, where they're addressing a certain skincare need. You can layer serums, so if you want to use 2 serums, just be really careful about combining ingredients. I've read multiple places that you should not use a vitamin C product, like a vitamin C serum, along with AHAs and or BHAs. AHAs and BHAs are chemical exfoliants, and vitamin C is of course an acid, so you don't want to combine those because they can cause irritation, is what I've read. If I find anything different, I will either put something on the screen or down below, but everything that I've read so far has suggested that you should not use the vitamin C and a chemical exfoliant like AHA and BHA together. You can use them in different times, like use one product, like maybe use your vitamin C in the morning, AHA, BHA in the evening, something like that, or on opposing days, things like that. Just don't use them together on the same patch of skin. Not a good idea. Yes, you can layer different, as long as they work together, you can layer different serums if you need multiple benefits. Or as I mentioned before, if you're entry level and you're just looking for something to start with, you can find quite a few serums that are sort of a one-size-fits-all that will work for a variety of skin types and are meant to deliver lots and lots of great skincare ingredients. So my personal recommendation would be, if you're new to serums, start with one of these products. I've got a couple that I want to mention that are good, sort of basic overall, just about anybody can use them. And one of them is the Paula's Choice Omega Plus Complex Serum. I don't have a bottle of that with me. I've used that in the past. I will pop a picture of it up somewhere on the screen, and I will also link it down below. It's a great overall serum. And it is called Omega Plus Complex because it contains, among other ingredients, 3 omega compounds, omega 3, 6, and 9 oils. And it also contains skin identical ceramides. Ceramides are another great ingredient for just about anybody as far as skin supporting and skin beneficial, and also hydrating ingredients. So it contains a nice mix of these different compounds that are all going to work really nicely together for just about anybody's skin type and skin needs. It's going to provide a good amount of overall just skin beneficial stuff to really help your skin look good. And what the Paula's Choice website says about it is that concentrated levels of omega fatty acids help replenish dull, dehydrated skin, revive a beautifully smooth, supple feeling, plus visibly soften the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. So just a nice overall serum that is going to work for a variety of skin types and skin needs. And I have used that before. I've used several bottles of it. I really enjoyed it. It's a white serum, and it's kind of, it's not real thick, but it's also not really thin. And it has a nice texture. It doesn't really have a scent. Paula's Choice is very adamant about not putting fragrance in their products, but it doesn't smell terribly unpleasant either, because sometimes unscented products can just smell kind of gross. But that one has a really nice texture. I really enjoyed using it. I used up my last bottle and then decided not to repurchase it right away because I wanted to use some other products. the Paula's Choice products are not terribly expensive, but they're not, you know, drugstore pricing either. So they're a little bit higher than a drugstore, and they're also online only. So you have to buy them through their online site. And so I decided to take a little break, and another one that I would really recommend is from The Ordinary, and I actually just used this bottle up, so I still had it, and it's The Ordinary Buffet Multi-Technology Peptide Serum, and I will pop a little picture of it up here and also link to it down below. Again, it is a nice, basic, has a lot of good ingredients in it, and is a great sort of starter serum is what I would call it. It has a little bit thinner texture than the Omega Plus serum from Paula's Choice, and it's more of a clear serum. And I think a lot of people have this expectation that a lot of serums are going to be clear or sort of see-through, and this one definitely is. Also, it is very affordable. By pretty much anybody's standards of affordability, this one is a really nicely priced one, as are most of the products from The Ordinary. In checking their website, this costs a grand total of $14.80. That is not bad for a serum, especially one that has all of these nice ingredients. It has, as the name would suggest, it has peptides. It has quite a few, and they have on the description and on the Deciem/Ordinary website, of course, have all these different things with technical terms and everything, so I'm not going to get too deep into that, but it has multiple peptides. Peptides are great for skin supporting, help skin repair its barriers and all these wonderful things. So multiple peptides are great for pretty much anybody. So this is another wonderful serum that is going to work for a lot of different people. It's really made for pretty much any skin type. I used both of those, both the Omega Plus and this one, at night. And I don't, as an oily skin person, really care all that much in the evening of what the texture of my serum is. I don't care if it's a little heavier or greasier. So I'm just going to bed, and then when I get up in the morning, I will give my face a light wash before I start in with my morning skincare routine. So I don't care. In fact, I kind of like to have a slightly heavier serum. I guess it's just a psychological thing where I think it's doing more. It probably isn't, but I don't mind it. If you are looking for a serum that is really good for oily skin that you want to use during the day, I would recommend the Paula's Choice. They have a couple of different ones. I think one is in the Resist line. I believe they have one in sort of their regular non-resist skincare line that are both made for oily skin. I will pop the links to those down below. I know I used the antioxidant serum for oily skin previously. I think I got a little deluxe sample size. That one has a really nice texture if you are oily skinned, because it's almost a dry texture. It's really interesting, but it's definitely not enough for me at night. But during the day it's really nice because it doesn't have a heavier, greasy feeling, which is great for those of us with oilier skin. And I will again put the link to that down below if you're looking for something that has a really light texture. So yes, the Ordinary Buffet Serum. They also have a Buffet plus Copper Peptides 1% that I have not personally used. I'm thinking about trying that, but not right now, because I'm actually working on a different one, and that is the Peach and Lily Glass Skin Refining Serum. And this is a K-beauty serum. If you've heard about Korean beauty, that's all the rage right now. And I heard this talked about on Alice in the Rabbit Hole's channel, and I linked to her down below. She has great skincare advice. She knows what she's talking about. She has a background in science, so you should probably be listening to her and not me, because she knows way more about the science. But this is one that has, among other things, niacinamide. And if you've watched any of my previous skincare videos, I have talked about one of my concerns being redness and irritation and inflammation from a mild case of rosacea, and niacinamide is one of those ingredients that's really good for helping with attacking that inflammation and helping to relieve some of that inflammation and redness and irritation. So that's one of the reasons that I wanted to try this particular product. And in addition to the niacinamide, the Peach and Lily Glass Skin Refining Serum also contains peach extract, which they say is full of vitamins, minerals, and essential fatty acids to help keep skin resilient. Contains Asian mountain yam extract. That's interesting. Dramatically helps to reduce flakiness, madecasoide, I am probably totally mispronouncing that, which is derived from Centella asiatica extract. It helps curb inflammation and stimulate collagen production. And if you watched my toner, Tale of Two Toners video, which I'll link up here, I talked about Centella asiatica being an ingredient that I'm looking to use more of, because one of the things that it is supposedly helpful for is inflammation, like from rosacea. So I was really interested to see that that was in there. Also has hyaluronic acid, which helps with plumping the skin, and peptide complex, which signals collagen production, which helps fill lines and deeply etched wrinkles. So I mentioned that with the peptide component of the Ordinary's Buffet Serum. Those peptides are really great for helping to address wrinkling and things like that. And if you're middle aging, you're probably concerned about that. So this is another great option. Ulta actually had the Peach and Lily products on sale a few days ago, and so I went ahead and snapped this up so that I could try it. And the nice thing is, this is not just a 1 ounce bottle, it's a 1.35 ounce bottle, and most bottles of serum are 1 ounce, so you can actually get a little bit more. It's $39 regularly, which is not inexpensive, but for what you get, I think that's a pretty good price. And I will report back as I use this more. I've only been using it for not even quite a week, and so far I've enjoyed it. It has not caused any irritation, or I've not had any adverse effects so far, and I've been using it every night. I usually use a couple of pumps, and I've really liked it so far, and I will let you know, and it will of course probably end up in an empties video, and I'll let you know my thoughts there after I've used up the whole bottle, and let you know what I think of how it helped or didn't, or what effect it had, and all of that fun stuff. And finally, talking about a serum that is meant for a very particular skincare concern, another one that I've had personal experience with is the Paula's Choice Calm Repairing Serum, I should say. And this is specifically for those of us who have inflammation and redness and issues with that, especially from things like rosacea. As I've mentioned, I have a mild case of that, and I've used this in the past. This is actually an empty bottle that I am looking to, I think I can actually recycle it through Paula's Choice and TerraCycle, so that's exciting. But this I found really nice for daytime use because, again, as an oily skin person, it wasn't too heavy, wasn't too oily or sticky or overly greasy feeling, so it was really nice for the daytime. When I used it up, I decided to try and use a couple other things before I thought about repurchasing this. I may go ahead and repurchase it, but because of price, I may be looking at some other options. And if you've watched my video about my change in life circumstances, which I'll link up here, which I think will have already posted by the time this one posts. Yeah, I won't have a job as of the end of business on December 31st, so I have to think about price. And I'm looking at some different options for an inflammation or redness relieving serum or concoction or moisturizer or something like that. But anyways, this one's really nice for those of you who might be experiencing some sort of inflammation or redness. And finally, a serum that I don't have personal experience with, but I actually gave it to a friend. I gave her a starter kit of basic skincare because she didn't know what to start with and what to do. So among other things, I gave her the e.l.f. Vitamin C serum because that is a nice brightening serum, and she has really enjoyed it. I will pop a picture of it up here and also a link to it down below. That again is a good one for a specific purpose. It's meant to, vitamin C will help brighten skin, so that's why you'll often see it in a lot of skincare concoctions like serums. And she has really enjoyed that one, and that one again, because it's e.l.f., is a very it's a much lower cost option than a lot of other serums that are out there, like the Peach and Lily that's $39, and I think most of the serums on Paula's Choice website are somewhere around the $30 to $40-ish mark, just because, I mean, that's how much it costs to make a serum. They typically, especially when they have a lot of skin beneficial ingredients. So it's really nice that The Ordinary has some great options, and then also e.l.f. Just be careful with the e.l.f. products because a lot of their products, skincare products especially, have fragrance in them. But my friend has really enjoyed that vitamin C serum. Like I said, I will pop a link to that down below. And that is the quick and dirty on serums. I am hoping that was helpful to any one of you who's out there totally overwhelmed with serums. if you've never used a serum before and you just want to start with something very basic that's not too terribly expensive, that is going to do some nice work with supporting your skin with some good stuff, I would start with the Ordinary's Buffet, because that one is a great price. It has no fragrance. It is full of those peptides that pretty much everybody can use. And it's just a great entry-level starter option if you're looking for something that is not terribly expensive, but is also going to be effective. So I would definitely recommend starting with that. If you don't mind spending a little bit more, the Paula's Choice Omega Plus Complex Serum is another great one that just has a whole array of great ingredients that are going to be really beneficial for just about anybody who wants to use some good quality skincare. And yeah, that's it. I am hoping that this one hasn't been too long. I'm trying to shorten these a little bit so that they aren't quite so overwhelming, give you some of my own personal experiences with these products. Like I said at the beginning, I really enjoy serum. It's probably my single favorite part of the skincare routine. I just think they're great. They do so many great things and I really enjoy them. So I will have more information down below. I will have links to some articles about serums and some good advice about them and links to the products as well. If you enjoyed this and you would like to subscribe, there will be a button somewhere right around in here where you can subscribe. I will pop another either video or playlist up here. I have a whole playlist of some skincare videos that I've put up so far. I will continue to post more skincare videos as we continue along. I apologize if the position, lighting, or anything else has changed. My camera cut out on me before I could totally finish that video. Let me give you a throwback track, and that will be the New Radicals, You Get What You Give, because serums give us so much. That's kind of a ridiculous reason. But anyways, it's kind of a fun song. It was really I think it was the only hit that they had. I don't think they lasted terribly long as a band. I don't think they're still around. But anyways, fun little fact, Danielle Brisebois, who was in the New Radicals, I think I'm pronouncing her name right, she was a child actress who grew up to be a singer-songwriter, and she also was a co-writer for the Natasha Bedingfield hit Unwritten. Who knew? I just found that out just within like the last year or something. Anyways, weird little thing, but yes, a link to the New Radicals, You Get What You Give, down in the description box below, along with more information. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope I will see you soon. See you later.